Welcome to Hockey Wiz Talks podcast. Today I'll preview the Central Division in the NHL. The newly constructed Central Division consists of the Carolina Hurricanes, Chicago Blackhawks, Columbus Blue Jackets, Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers, Nashville Predators, St. Louis Blues, and Tampa Bay Lightning. This is how the standings stack up. In first place are the Tampa Bay Lightning, followed by the St. Louis Blues, Carolina Hurricanes, Columbus Blue Jackets, Florida Panthers, Nashville Predators, Chicago Blackhawks, and Detroit Red Wings. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Also visit my Facebook page, HockeyWiz777, and my Instagram, HockeyWiz777. The Tampa Bay Lightning are defending Stanley Cup champions and are by far the best team in this division. Even though they will be without Nikita Kucherov for this season, they still have Steven Stamkos, Braden Point, and Victor Hedman, as well as star goaltender Andrei Vasilevsky. Tampa also has a bunch of very good supporting players as well, which makes them very tough to play against. Keep an eye on Yanni Gourde this season. He thrived in the playoffs last season between Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow. He will need to play a major role on the Lightning this season if they want to repeat. On defense, the Lightning might be forced to play McDonough or Sergachev on the right side. If that doesn't work out, look for the Lightning to make a trade for a veteran right D to play alongside Victor Hedman. As always, Andrei Vasilevsky has to hold the fort down in goal in order for the Lightning to win the Stanley Cup again. Overall, the Tampa Bay Lightning are overwhelming favorites to win this division. The St. Louis Blues are the second best team in the division and are the biggest threat to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Blues are a physical, blue-collared, hard-working team that also have some very skilled players in the lineup, such as Ryan O'Reilly, Braden Shen, Jaden Schwartz, Torrey Krug, Colton Parayko, Justin Falk, and David Perron. Vladimir Tarasenko will miss a good portion of the season, so some players will need to step up in his place. Two players to keep an eye on this season are Sammy Blais and Jordan Kyrou. One of these players will need to step up to fill Alex Steen's role on the team. The Blues added Torrey Krug in free agency, but also lost Alex Pietrangelo to the Golden Knights. If they want to be a legit contender, Vince Dunn needs to step up. We'll tandem with Ville Husso in goal, which should be a good enough tandem in net. The St. Louis Blues should be the second best team in the division, but the Carolina Hurricanes could pose a great threat to them. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to challenge the St. Louis Blues for the second seed in this division. They have quietly assembled a really good team that can hold its own against any team in the league. Carolina has a great core of forwards, which features Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, and Teuvo Teravainen. They also have some great veterans on the team to help mentor those young players, such as Jordan Staal, Nino Niederreiter, and Vincent Trocheck. The player to keep an eye on this year for the Hurricanes is Martin Necas, who is due for a breakout year. Carolina has one of the deepest D cores in the league, which features Dougie Hamilton, Jacob Slavin, Brady Shea, Brett Pesce, and Jake Gardner. They also have Jake Bean, one of the best defensive prospects waiting in the pipeline. Peter Mrazek and James Reimer are a solid goaltending tandem in net. They should get the job done in the regular season. With that said, the Carolina Hurricanes should be a lock to be a top 3 seed in this division. On paper, the Columbus Blue Jackets don't look like a playoff caliber team, but if we have learned anything from watching the Blue Jackets last year, is that you can't predict well-coached teams that play hard every night. For that reason, the Columbus Blue Jackets should still be a threat in this division, despite not having as much talent as other teams. On the offensive side of the puck, the Blue Jackets really do not have any elite offensive weapons. Only 3 players might crack the 60-point barrier: Cam Atkinson, Gustav Nyquist, and Pierre-Luc Dubois. 2 players to keep an eye on are Alexander Texier and Liam Foudy. Both will be core players for the Blue Jackets in no time. The Blue Jackets have an all-star first pair with Zach Werenski and Seth Jones, as well as a very good second pair as well with Vladislav Gavrikov and David Savard. These 2 pairs will get the bulk of the ice time for the Blue Jackets. Jonas Korpisalo and Elvis Merzlikins made a great tandem in net last season. Columbus will need them to continue their stellar play in order for them to make the playoffs. After watching the Blue Jackets last season, I will never count out the Blue Jackets because I expect them to remain competitive and remain in the playoff hunt. Check out my scouting blog at HockeyWiz777scouting.wordpress.com. The Florida Panthers could be a surprise team in the NHL this season for a few reasons. 1. They have a few great young players coming up that could make a tremendous impact for them. 2. Sergei Bobrovsky could have a bounce-back year. Even though the Panthers lost Evgeny Dadonov and Mike Hoffman, they signed Anthony Duclair and traded for Patrick Hornqvist, so that will be a wash. On top of adding Duclair and Hornqvist, the Panthers also added Alexander Wenberg and also could add a few young players like Owen Tippett, Grigory Denisenko, and Anton Lundell. Defensively, the Panthers added Marcus Nudavara and Radko Gudas, two solid defensemen. Even though these two defensemen aren't anything special, it does give them defensive depth and 3 solid deep pairs. Sergei Bobrovsky had a terrible year last season, so it would be tough for him to have a worse year than last season. I fully expect him to have a bounce back year. While the Florida Panthers could make a run for the last playoff spot, the Florida Panthers will likely end up the 5th best team in the division and miss the playoffs. The Nashville Predators are no longer a playoff caliber team because they lost all their depth on their roster, and they have a coach in John Hynes who lost more games in the last 4 years than he won. Nashville still has some star talent on offense like Phil Forsberg, Ryan Johansson, and Matt Duchene. But outside of those players, no one else is able to score consistently. Keep an eye on Eeli Tolvanen, who could have a breakout year playing with Duchene and Cunnin. The Predators still have a great defense, which features Roman Josi, Ryan Ellis, and Matthias Ekholm. But in order for them to thrive, Dante Fabro needs to elevate his game to the next level. UC Saros is expected to be the starter moving forward, with Pekka Rinne being the backup. They make a pretty good tandem. The Predators most likely will miss the playoffs and end up as the 6th best team in this division. The Chicago Blackhawks are most likely going to miss the playoffs, but they still have some firepower in their lineup, so they will still be winning a good amount of games. Offensively, the Blackhawks are actually pretty good. They have a great top 6 and a good mix of role players as well. However, the defense and goaltending leaves much to be desired. The defense of the Blackhawks is pretty poor. They have an aging Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook, and that's about it. Adam Boqvist is the future of the Blackhawks blue line, so the development of Boqvist should be a priority. The goaltending of the Blackhawks is flat out terrible. They will be going with a Malcolm Subban and Colin Delia tandem, which is not good enough to cut it in the NHL. The only reason why the Blackhawks aren't the worst team in this division is because they are in the same division as the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings are the worst team in this division by far, and might also be the worst team in the league overall. Detroit has one good scoring line, and the rest of the lines are formed by NHL cast-offs. Philip Zadina is wasted on the 3rd line with Sam Gagner and Valtteri Filppula. At least play him with Robbie Fabry and Vladislav Nemestikov. It would be better to play Bobby Ryan on the line with Gagner and Filppula than Zadina, because the Red Wings cannot afford to be wasting another year of Zadina's entry-level contract, and at the same time ruining his development. The defense actually isn't really bad if Mark Stahl and Dan DeKeyser can stay healthy, but it is uncertain how long those two will remain healthy. Thomas Greiss and Jonathan Bernier would make a solid tandem with a great defense in front of them, but they don't have a good defense in front of them, so I expect a long season ahead for the Red Wings goalies. The focus of the Red Wings is to stockpile as many top-end talents in the next few drafts to build the next powerhouse team, similar to how the Tampa Bay Lightning needed to do in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Listen to my other podcasts on SoundCloud.com/HockeyWiz777. The Central Division is pretty easy to predict. Everyone knows that the Tampa Bay Lightning, St. Louis Blues, and Carolina Hurricanes will finish top 3 in this division, while the Chicago Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings will finish with the worst records in this division. Although I'm pretty certain about my projections, the order of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Florida Panthers, and Nashville Predators might be different when the season plays out. In my next podcast, I preview the West Division in the NHL.